Welcome back, Wildcat families. My name is Mrs. Cardwell, and welcome to our virtual back to school night here at Altamont Creek Elementary. Now, this year we have a special treat. Mrs. Collins is back, and she is doing a co taught class with myself this year. We're also working with Mrs. Berman, too. So we have lots of teachers, lots of educators here to help your students meet their needs. Now, I know these are unprecedented times, ladies and gents. And so we have a few tips and tricks, some helpful things that can make the online learning more fun, more productive, and easier on everyone involved. Okay, so this is our Wildcat at Home Learning Matrix. You'll notice on the left-hand side that we have three tenets, and those are to be safe, be respectful, and be responsible. Now, for the past several years, we've been working with the Wildcats here at school in the classroom on ways to be safe, respectful, and responsible here on campus. This year, of course, we want to extend that to our at-home learning environments. So you can see under the Be Safe column, when we enter class and communicate online, students have chosen a distraction-free space as possible, using materials as they're supposed to be used, kind words and faces. We get to see those beautiful, shiny faces every day, and following directions. Ways we can be respectful is being prompt, making sure we're in our meetings on time, muting yourself rather, or when you're entering, raising hands to be called on, typing questions in the chat, and using tools appropriately. Being responsible, we can follow directions, we can be organized, making sure that all your chats are on topic and showing effort. Now, as you read through these, just notice that the kids have been working on these with Mrs. Collins and myself all ready to start out this year. All right, a few student expectations. Each morning we do our Wildcat daily check. Okay, so checking on to Schoology by 8 a.m. Usually that means logging on to our WebEx by 8 a.m. Now, I know that there have been some glitches, some little issues and things like that. I encourage you to, if you're having trouble logging on, just to kind of continue trying a few more times. If it's still not working, go ahead and shoot me an email. And after our morning meeting is finished, I can get a hold of you and sort of troubleshoot some of that with you. So that's our C. Next, we have our H, helping yourself and your parent by keeping your schoolwork organized and in a safe place. Now, this we want to give the responsibility to our students. They are very capable of keeping themselves organized. We've brought together a crate for them, and we've got some important tools that are in there that we'll be learning about later on this year in order to keep themselves a little more organized and get ready to go on to middle school next year. Our next item is E, email teachers when you need assistance. The students have been taught how to message me through Schoology, which comes right into my email. So if there are questions about assignments during the asynchronous individual work time, the kids are welcome to email me. The other teachers and myself are typically in meetings and training or working with other small groups of students in our class. And so we regularly check our email. So that'll be something that we can get back to you as soon as we can. C, the second C is come ready to learn, dressed, sitting up, camera on, mic muted. And this is a very important one, boys and girls. I feel like kids dress for success, right? Even if they're feeling sleepy, they change out of their pajamas. If they're sitting up, a nice alert posture, that's really going to help them be ready for class, be ready to go. And last but not least, we have K, keeping up with assignments by turning in work on time. And that'll all be sent in, submitted through Schoology. And we'll be talking a little bit about that later on in the year. All right. So we have our little icons over here, muting yourself, being on time, turning on your video, coming prepared, sitting up straight and still, dressing for school, raising your hand to talk, and finding a quiet place. All right, so we do have some parent and guardian expectations, and I would like to start out this section by saying thank you for all that you are doing. Parents and guardians are going above and beyond in this very unexpected sort of time. We never expected that we would have to go through a pandemic sort of situation. So I do want to say thank you for all that you've done for your Wildcat. Um, and we really do appreciate it here at school. I understand and definitely sympathize with the challenges of these different pieces of technology, of really trying to help your students stay online and learning, and all of those pieces. I know that it can be challenging, and I do really appreciate all that you have done for our Wildcats. If there is a way that you feel like you would like to be supported, I am so happy to help you out in any way I can. Please shoot me an email. I usually respond to those about in 24 to 48 hours, and we will get you the support that you need, because we do appreciate so much what you're doing. So for our parent guardian expectations, checking your student Schoology account daily. And for that, ladies and gentlemen, I believe just last night, Tuesday night, that you had received your code to be able to get into your child's Schoology. So you should be able to see that. If you did not receive that code, please let me know. Each child has an individual code, so we can't share those codes with you. It's not like a one size fits all, just here you go, and then you can get into Mrs. Cardwell's class. Okay, so just let me know. Please send me a message, and then I would be happy to help you get that. H, help your child by keeping schoolwork organized and have a quiet place to learn during video conferencing and classwork time. I know sometimes it can be challenging, especially with multiple students at home where they are trying to all work. And so I have seen people get really kind of creative. I do know that sometimes it's helpful for students or kiddos if they're right next to each other. We have there's little partitions. If you need something like that, I do have some extra ones available. They're just sort of cardboard partitions that kind of come around the student and the computer, so it kind of focuses them in. If you would like those, I'm happy to provide them. Send me a message. The next one, E, is email teachers when you have assistance. Emailing is the best way to get a hold of us, ladies and gents. So you can go through Schoology, you can go through Gmail, or you can go through my respond to a Blackboard message. Okay. If you do need my email, it is cardwell@lvjusd.org. Okay, let me go ahead and let me write that out really quick. So it's C Cardwell at lvjusd.org. Let me bring that up on my screen for you. Okay, so shoot me a message. I am so happy to help. All right. Creating a quiet learning environment for your child. Okay, so some creative ways you can use things like clipboards. You could use a table, you could use a desk, and have them logged into Schoology by 8 a.m. with their camera on and mics muted. Again, when we say Schoology, you can find the link to my WebEx through Schoology, or you can go just directly to that Schoology, or I'm sorry, directly to that WebEx link. K, keep up with your child's progress and make learning a priority. So very important, ladies and gentlemen, and we do appreciate all of the ways that you're helping your child. It's a very unusual situation, and we really appreciate how parents have just really stepped up. All right. So some additional parent guardian expectations. Parents and guardians can watch the Schoology tutorial before August 25th. If needed, parents can check out a Chromebook here at school. If you have a student whose device is not working, go ahead and we can swap it out for you. An expectation is that parents will log on to Schoology daily, and just helping your child getting up and dressed and fed and ready to go for school by 8 a.m. Okay. It's very helpful if a child has their own dedicated workspace, whether that be something like a clipboard, a table, a desk. Very, very helpful with as little distraction as possible. So each student, we have the crates that were provided to you. They already have a tub with their school supplies in them. The only additional things they might need are earbuds and headphones, just making sure that those little guys, that earbuds and headphones do work for your child. Okay. Each child is online by 8 a.m. with their camera on and mic muted ready. Parents and guardians will communicate any issues with connectivity. Please, please, please let me know. Send me an email with the issues that you might be having, because I'm happy to help you out. If I don't know the answer, I will find somebody who does. Okay. And parents can kind of check in occasionally just to ensure that their child is on task, still sitting at their desk and ready to go. I know that it is a long time for a student to be online. And as we go along, we're going to be breaking kids into smaller groups. We're going to be having a lot more activities in which, kids will be moving around and not having to be so sedentary behind the computer itself. All right. So as you had seen, our schedule, it's all on Schoology, and it was also sent to you in our newsletter. We do have synchronous time, and that's time that students are all learning at the same time. So we have our morning meeting, we have our ELA time, our math time, and then our closing meeting. So that's when our communication happens in real time. Students are encouraged to, that's when a lot of the learning will be taking place. The direct instruction will be taking place at that time. Students are encouraged to ask questions. Students are encouraged to be communicating with one another, whether it's in the chat box or via online conversation. Okay. So our asynchronous time happens after 1:20, and that's when students are working on their individualized assignments. Now, for these first 2 weeks, we are all working on the same assignments. We're trying to get into the groove. We're trying to get all of the students familiar with all the tools that are in Schoology. And so that's really important. That's what we're using these first 2 weeks for, getting to know our students, students getting to know students, and learning all these tools that we're going to be using for this year. In our third week, we are going to be starting with our academics, with our more rigorous academics. And in that time, we will be doing our instruction during the synchronous time, encouraging kids to work together, to ask questions, and breaking them into smaller groups so that they can have smaller group instruction. And then after 1:20, we have the asynchronous time. So students will be working using Schoology, and all of our assignments are on Schoology in that daily folder. And I can share that with you as well. So we know that communication is not live at this time. Students are working at their own time and pace. And at this time, teachers are pulling small groups of students, working one-on-one, teaching people a little bit more closely. And so we are still checking our email and things like that. If you have a question, perhaps a link isn't working, you're unable to access some material, just go ahead and shoot me an email, and I'm happy to help you out with that. This asynchronous time is also going to be time when students have assignments to meet their own needs. We have lots of students in lots of different levels, ladies and gents. And so we're going to be fine-tuning some assignments that help each of our students reach their independent goals. So this is a wonderful time to do that. And so you might notice if you have your child that is working on one set of assignments, and maybe he's chatting with a friend and they realize, oh, it's a different set of assignments. We want to get every child to have what it is they need, not all of the same. Okay, so that's the beauty of this asynchronous time, is that students get assignments that are tailor fit to help them progress. Okay. All right, moving right along. So online school will work well. We all just need to continue to be positive, have fun. Students are listening to the teacher, being respectful by waiting our turn, raising hands to speak, encouraging each other, participating and collaborating, and coming to class prepared. Now, before I let you go, I wanted to share with you parents a few important parts of our Schoology page. Now, as I mentioned before, you should have a code in which you can look onto your child's Schoology page. And when you get there, it should look something like this. You will go ahead and click on Mrs. Cardwell's and Mrs. Collins's class. You'll notice all the stop signs that are nearby. Those are just empty courses. We want to simplify things as much as possible for our kiddos. So we put it all under one class. You'll go ahead and click on that one class. It brings you to our materials page. And our materials page, you can tell you're on the materials tab. If you look over to the left, we have a list of different things. Now I have some more things than your child will just because I have the grade book and all of that good stuff. So on our materials page, we have some really great stuff. We've got our Bitmoji classroom, and if we keep scrolling down, we get to this week's assignments. Now, this is where the bulk of our important material is. So each day we have our classroom meetings and we have our math instruction time, our ELA instruction time, where students are getting direct instruction, small group instruction, and working independently. In the afternoon, when they're working at the asynchronous time, when they're working individually, their assignments will be in this folder called This Week's Assignments. Once you click on the blue folder, This Week's Assignments, you'll be able to see there is a folder for each and every day. Okay, so for example, let's go ahead and look at Wednesday. Once you pop open the Wednesday, you will see there is a math and an ELA folder. Our first block is math. Although students can go ahead and work on these in whichever order they would like. You see for today, we have a math video for the students to watch and then a reflection piece in our discussion board. So our students will be clicking on our math video first, pops up, they get a chance to watch it, head back to materials, and this week's assignments. And under that first video, there's the reflection piece, and it includes instructions. All right, so the instructions say, watch the video, math strategies, make a comment and answer the following questions. Now, the very cool thing about this is not only can students write, but they can write by clicking on the text box, but they can also, if we scroll down just a little bit further, you can see there is also a microphone, an audio video recording. So they are also welcome to use that, unless if there are some different instructions. So they can share their answers, whether using audio video, or they are welcome to use the typing piece. Okay. All right. As we move back to our folders, once they have finished up this piece, they can move back to our ELA folder. And inside here, we have a couple of assignments as well. Flipgrid, presenting our personal timeline, and independently reading and responding. Now, this is another discussion board. The instructions are always included, okay, right here at the top, and students are able to include information, the answers of the questions here in the text box, and doing that recording piece as well using the audio video recording. It's the little microphone on the bottom corner. All right, so that's where our students will be finding all of their materials, the things that are needed each day. Now, these materials will not be the same for all children. Our students will have different goals, different things that they are working on. We want to make sure that all the students get what they need, not everyone having the same stuff. It's instead of equality, it's equity. So everyone's getting what it is that they need. And so sometimes you might notice maybe a student's chatting with their buddy and, oh, you're working on one thing and I'm working on another. And that's totally normal. It's really wonderful in this asynchronous, individualized work time. We can really tailor make all of these assignments for our students and their individual needs. Another important piece I wanted to share with you, of course, we have up here if there's emails or notifications. We've got little reminders over here. This morning we had some upcoming events. We had a science class at 11:15. And so it said science class over here. You just clicked on it and it brought up the link for the science class. So if your child is ever looking for that, you know where that is now. Another important piece is our updates. It's all the most up-to-date information here. As you can see, our top post is Mrs. Collins. She left up a link. She will be reading at 3 o'clock. If anyone wants to join a read along, they are welcome to. And down below also, we do have our newsletter, which was emailed to most of you. If you did not get that email, please let me know. It's not going on there. Okay, so that's also listed there, and that includes our weekly schedule, a quick note from the teacher, important links. It includes a calendar, sort of reminders about the different things that are coming up, days we have off, end of the trimester, beginning, all of that good stuff. So that is a wealth of information as well. All right, I think that that'll be all that I'll share with you today in regards to Schoology. If you have questions, myself or Mrs. Cardwell or Mrs. Collins would love to touch bases with you. Please let us know any questions you might have via email. If you would like to have more of an in-depth conversation, we can do small group or one-on-one video conferences. We're happy to do those as well. I would like together a frequently asked question sheet and share it with all of you. So as you email in your questions, I'll be putting them together on a sheet, unless of course they are questions of a personal nature, in which we will keep those private. But I wanted to, any of the general questions, I'd like to go ahead and put in a document, put down the answers, and then push that out to you so that everybody has that information. And so I think that that'll be really great. All right. Once again, ladies and gents, thank you so much for joining me. Mrs. Collins and I are really, really excited for this year. We're going to make this our best year yet. We're very excited to be touching bases, to be meeting up with all of you, and your students for this year. So thank you so much and have a great evening.